It's Friday, March 14th, 2025, and you are listening to the Rivian Clubs of America podcast. Hey everybody, what's going on? Zach Winnick here with the Rivian Clubs of America podcast. This is kind of a different podcast we're going to do today, just because I am currently driving back from spending a week in Las Vegas with the off-grid EV racing team and the Mint 400. So if you were following along with all of us on following me on X and Instagram, as well as the Rivian Clubs of America Instagram, and a couple of the other RCA members, Ross Wilson and Richard Millett, we got invited by the off-grid EV racing team to come out and help them out as they conquered the Mint 400 in the Rivian R1T that did the first Pikes Peak race to the top of the mountain, and watch them and help them out and cover all of the activities for the week for the race. And so this is just going to be basically a recap episode, and then at the end I had the opportunity to sit down with two of the drivers, Nick and Jordan, as well as Ricardo, who was the chief engineer for the team, and asked them questions that were submitted by you guys about the truck and about the team and how they work on the truck and some of the slight modifications that they made to it and everything. And it was a lot of fun, and I got to give a huge shout out to everybody on the team, the entire crew, all the drivers, and all the support people that were there with the team. It was the best week I've had in a really long time, and it was a lot of fun, and it was great meeting everybody and just getting to know everyone and learning about everything and watching them work and tune the truck and make some repairs on the fly during the race, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, so I just kind of wanted to do this recap as I was driving home. Just thought it'd be kind of fun to record it here in my truck as I'm driving, because I got a 10-hour drive from Las Vegas back up to the Bay Area, and what better way to spend it than with everybody who's listening. So thanks for hanging out with me on my drive back, and hope you guys enjoy the show, and hope you all enjoy my recap and the interview and everything. So let's kind of get into it a little bit. So, like I said, this entire week, starting on Tuesday, today's March 8th, so Tuesday would have been March 4th, I've been in Las Vegas covering the Mint 400 for Rivian Clubs of America, and specifically this podcast, as well as all the social media, and kind of a boots on the ground, embedded reporter, if you will, and just being able to have basically free access to roam around and watch the team work and see how they get the truck ready for the race and how they prepare for like the driver parade and go through all the inspections and everything that the race requires them to go through, and just kind of get to know everybody. And it was so much fun. Like, I have not had this much fun doing something in a long time, and it was great. So I got in Tuesday night. There wasn't very much going on. Everything started on Wednesday. So Wednesday morning was the basically the main inspection. So the race officials come through and they inspect the truck and make sure that it's safe for the drivers and for the track. And then they install like all the safety equipment. So like the emergency cutoff button that immediately shuts off power to the truck in case there's an emergency like a fire or something. And then they also install like a GPS tracker for the race, because during the race you're able to live track your favorite driver and vehicle while it's out on the course, which is amazing. Now also the off-grid EV team was live streaming every event on their YouTube page. You can catch all the replays. They're at Off Grid EV Racing on YouTube. So you can catch all 3 events, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, where Friday was the race. Wednesday was the parade of all the cars that were in the race that went through downtown Las Vegas. If you're familiar with the area, Fremont Street was where it was at. And then Thursday was kind of the Mint 400 Fan Fest, which was downtown as well. And there was a little mini parade there. And then the truck was actually on display at the Tread Lightly booth that was there, because Tread Lightly was one of the sponsors of the Mint 400. And they're actually also leading a track cleanup tomorrow, March 9th. But by the time you hear this show, it'll be past that. But yeah, so Wednesday was the safety inspection and the parade. So it was really cool to hang out and watch the inspection go on, and then watch the parade down Las Vegas Boulevard. They started at Circus and drove all the way down to Mandalay Bay. And we were perched up on the bridge that goes over Las Vegas Boulevard at Harmon, right in front of the Cosmopolitan, the bridge that goes from the Cosmopolitan to Planet Hollywood. And just to see the entire parade and see all the trucks and crazy off-road rally cars that were there. And the grand marshal of the parade was Stone Cold Steve Austin, who was actually also racing in the Mint 400 as well, which was crazy. And he was in, somebody took I forgot what he said that it was built on top of, but it was a land speeder from Star Wars. I'm like, what? And there was a dude dressed up as Chewbacca. So that was wild. But yeah, the truck looked great. Like I said, it was the truck that did the first Pikes Peak run. So you've all seen that, the blue and white and yellow R1T that Gardner Nichols drove up Pikes Peak the first time, not last year in the new Gen 2. This is a Gen 1 R1T quad. The crazy thing about this truck is that 99% of it is stock. They did switch out the tires. They were running 258 20s, running at, I think they said 30 PSI, because they didn't want them too low, because there are very high speed sections across a dry lake bed where the first lap they hit the limit of the truck at 113 miles an hour. And on the second lap, they kind of uncorked it. And I believe the GPS tracker on the live stream said that the truck hit 128 miles an hour, which is absolutely insane. So that was pretty cool. And then there's a couple of other slight modifications. They got a couple of light bars on there. A lot of people noticed that there was a Gen 2 light bar instead of the Gen 1 lights on the front of the truck. I did ask about that and got a very hearty laugh out of Nick and Ricardo, and that was the only answer that they gave me. So I apologize for anybody that wanted to know about that, but they're like, oh yeah, we got that on there. That was about it. So sorry I couldn't get that question answered, but obviously there are some things on the truck that I am not allowed to talk about, because they have made some other minor modifications to it that are not allowed to be public, but that's all I'm allowed to say. Obviously, it is running some custom software as well, just to allow them to be able to make some of those changes, like taking the limiter off the motors and all of that. But like I said, you'll hear a lot about it in the interview. I won't give too much else away. We did talk about the tires. Jordan did talk a little bit about how the car handled at 128 miles an hour across that dry lake bed, and how they were able to set a time of both laps were about 2.5 hours to go 73 miles, which is crazy. We didn't get into the battery usage, but the first lap, the truck started at 99%. And when they pulled into the charger after the first lap, it was at about 20%. They were averaging about 0.54 kilowatts an hour throughout the race. So take that as you will. When they finished the race after the second lap, they charged up to, I think we set it to 90%. So they stopped at 90. And when they finished the race, it was at 10%. So they were sitting in line to get on the podium at 10%. So There you go. That's battery usage, and like I said, no modifications to the thermals. It was the stock thermal controls and everything. So the car was doing what it does when the temperatures get that high on it, and managing the thermals and the motors that way. Same with the battery. So there was no preconditioning. There was nothing like that. It was all whatever the truck was doing at the time. So it was pretty crazy. They did have a minor accident on the first lap. They kind of took a weird line and ended up busting the right front suspension, and they had to replace one of the dampers during the charging stop. So there is some footage that will be on one of the videos that I post to the RCA YouTube channel, showing the truck rolling up to the Electrify America charger at the EA chargers at the outlet mall right there at Primm, Nevada, which is on the state line between California and Nevada. So that was a pretty crazy experience as well. I was part of the team. I was hanging back with the second drivers, Jordan and Alex. And so once the truck got close enough after the second, there were 2 pits out on the track. So after the second pit, we started heading over to the chargers to make sure that there was a space open. And shout out to the guy in the Audi RS8, I believe it was, e-tron that was charging. We walked up to him because the station was completely full, which was nuts. And we knocked on his window and we're like, hey, we got a truck. Rivian entered in the Mint 400 that's going on right now, and we would like to use this charger. So we don't know, if you would be willing to like move to one of the other chargers, or if you finish early. Guy was totally cool. He was like, oh my God, that's so awesome. Hell yeah, let's do it. He's like, I'll hold the space as long as I can until the truck gets here, and then I'll take off. And sure enough, he did. So shout out to that guy. We didn't get your name, but the dude in the brand new Audi RS8, thank you so much for that. But it was awesome. The truck got special permission to come off the track after crossing the start-finish line after the first lap, to come down and roll into the charger. And the truck didn't even stop at the charger before the crew was on the truck and had the front wheel off and instantly started getting that front damper off, and they were able to get that part replaced on the truck within about 20 minutes. I think the official time that I clocked it at was about 22 minutes. So they had enough time to do that. They changed out the tire on it just to be safe, and they still waited about another 10-15 minutes to get the drivers prepped and to finish charging. So that was amazing. And then I spent the second lap running between the 2 pits. So after that, we rode out to the first pit, which was maybe about 15-20 minutes away from where the hotel and the start-finish line was, and came in, and something else happened to the left front suspension. So they switched out the damper on the front suspension, or the left front as well, and they actually beat their time from the first switch out. It was about 15 minutes on that one, and they were able to get the damper switched out and put the wheel back on and back out on the track within 15 to 20 minutes. So that was insane to watch. I have video footage of both of those, which will be in a video as well on the YouTube channel. And then watching the truck cross the finish line was probably the greatest thing. And obviously the truck came in first in its class, which was awesome. Not to discount it or anything, but it was the only truck in the class. It was supposed to be competing against the Silverado EV, which Chevy entered as well, but the race officials made it move to its own class, like an open class, because it was found that there were some modifications on it. So the class that the Rivian was in and the off-grid team was I believe it was the performance class, which means that it's all stock, performance stock class. So, yeah, it was a great experience. It was awesome to see the team win. It was awesome to be able to talk to them and hang out with them. And they're an amazing bunch of guys. A lot of them go to the King of Hammers event. that happens every year that we just had last month. So if you want to come hang out and meet them and drive your Rivians around with them, I definitely recommend next year going out to King of Hammers and then get to hang with everybody. It was pretty great. So yeah, so that's kind of my recap for this week. I'm going to roll the interview, and I hope you guys all enjoy it. There will be a video of the interview, so you can kind of watch Nick and Ricardo and Jordan give their answers. But if you just want to listen to it, it's going to come up right now. So here we go. All right, everybody. I am here with Jordan, Ricardo, and Nick, and they are from Off Grid EV Racing. And guys, can you go ahead and just kind of give a little brief introduction of who you are and what you all do on the team?
I'm Jordan Sellers. This year I was the driver of the second lap of the Mint 400.
Hi, I'm Ricardo. I was the chief engineer for the Mint 400 this year.
And I'm Nick Paris, and I was the driver for lap 1.
Awesome. So for people that don't know, or now just hearing of Off Grid EV Racing, what is it and how did you guys get started? And
Yeah, so Off Grid EV Racing is a all-electric race truck. It's kind of started when we're originally off-road guys. That's kind of what we did before we were able to experience the Rivian. We had the ability to drive it a few times, get some seat time, and really wanted to show off its capabilities. And so we started doing things like, the Rubicon. So we actually have the R1S out here that did the Rubicon. And we also just wanted to up the ante for the racing community and show how capable these cars are and change the kind of mentality behind EVs.
Awesome. So going off of that, obviously we're sitting in front of the Mint 400 winning Rivian R1T. What were some of the modifications that you guys have made to this particular truck versus like what a stock R1T would come as?
So the major modifications, just like anything out here, is safety. Having to gut the interior, getting a full roll cage in, getting it to where if they don't keep it shiny side up, they're able to walk away and have a good day, even with how heavy these vehicles are. Adding our off-roading lights, changing the interior, dropping weight. Luckily, with removing as much interior and everything as we have, we're little over a stock weight vehicle. I know a lot of you asked that question. And then in terms of software, a lot of it comes down to removing speed limit so we can go faster on these gorgeous lake beds out here that these guys are going ultra fast on. And then down to, I know some of you even in our live stream commented for our pit speeds, we do have certain speed limiters set for different drive modes just so these guys don't go too fast when they're not supposed to.
And just really quick, because you were mentioning software, there's nothing else?
Not really.
Okay.
The majority of it is just making it to where we can do the limits of what we can do off-road and maybe not what we're limited to when these vehicles are public and on highways.
Perfect. Awesome. All right, and then I know a lot of the questions from the community came on these awesome tires that you guys have on the truck. Can you talk about like some of the specs and everybody really wanted to know like what PSI y'all were running at and like the size and how you guys were able to get them on the truck and all of that.
Yeah, so these are BFG's all-terrains. They're slightly oversized, the 285, 65s, 20s. It's just a regular off-the-shelf all-terrain. Anyone can go out and get them for their truck. We run them at 30 PSI for the race. We don't want to run too low, so we don't debead off a wheel. And if you get some beadlock rims on there, you can drop a lot more pressure. But we're running factory-driven wheels. So.
Awesome. And since I could ask Nick this also, and if you want to chime in on this question as well as kind of a follow-up to that, because you guys were out there on the course running around with those tires. How did they hold up? Like, how did you like them compared to other wheels that you guys have used?
So we ran the Mint 400 and didn't shed a single tire, which is very impressive. You can look at other teams out here and they're every pit swapping tires and going through them like crazy. So very impressive tire.
Awesome. It's good to hear. So speaking about during the race and all of that, a lot of people were asking about how you guys manage the thermals of both the battery and the motors throughout the race.
So on that one, I can easily say that the stock Rivian system is what's cooling this truck. For our battery and our motors and stuff, it cools just as any of the Rivian sitting here in the parking lot that you guys drove out here today. Same software, same pumps, same routing, just as it came.
Awesome. How did the thermals perform during the race compared to, is it compared to what you were expecting out of it, or did it do better? Did it do worse?
It did very well. Definitely going ultra high speeds in certain areas definitely heated things up more than the stock systems are used to, for sure. Maintaining those speeds for longer durations isn't quite what the trucks are set up to do naturally in this environment, but overall it did really well and we're happy with it.
Awesome. Again, continuing more about the race, how does something like the air suspension on the truck, since this truck is mainly stock, how does it hold up during the race, and especially, of course, as demanding as the Mint 400?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a very, very rough course this year. I was on lap 1. I did have a very, very big hit in the front right. The air suspension held up for that big hit. I think I probably jarred something because it was such a massive hit, but we were able to get it to pit. And then shortly after, at mile 50, one of the air springs did blow. But we were able to limp the vehicle home the last 20 miles.
Yeah, that was
just 3 springs. Right?
That was awesome.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, seeing you guys do that repair out on the track, and then at the Charger, nonetheless, was the greatest thing ever. It was so awesome.
We were averaging 17 to 20 miles an hour with a blown air spring.
Yeah, right? that was insane. The car was still able to keep going.
Yep.
The
system's pretty robust. The vehicle can take it. So we were super impressed, and
awesome. So one of the questions was, if you could wave a magic wand and alter the stock air suspension and damper setup, what would you like to do? If there were no limits at all, reinforcements or tweaking the design, take a different approach.
Yeah, I think there's always more stuff you can do with reinforcements, just to make sure if you do have a failure, you can survive it. Really, maybe better skid plate setup so we can, hit something a little bit faster than we normally would. A little bit more peace of mind there.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe a little bit more wheel travel. What this has now is a lot more than most vehicles have.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were able to go 110 and then go relatively quick through the whoops, so there's not much.
Yeah, that's awesome. So speaking about being out on the course and going through the whoops and all of that, what were some of the different drive modes that you guys used, and why would you choose one over the other during certain situations and things like that?
So for majority of the race, we ran soft sand mode in our high setting. Just the high setting to get some ground clearance through where these big trophy trucks are going through massive 38, 40-inch tires, digging big old grooves out there. We need some more higher center clearance. We ran rally mode in standard ride height for any of the high-speed dry lake bed stuff, just for a little more aerodynamic stability and just overall stability of the vehicle.
Cool, and you guys were able to change that on the fly while you were going out there, no issues?
Co-drivers, that was their responsibility. They knew where we were at on the track and when to switch it to which modes.
Awesome.
It's pretty neat.
All right, so now
couple of the fun questions just to kind of round it out. We got 3 here. Do you guys have any plans to run a more heavily modified Rivian truck in like an open EV class at some point?
We hope so.
Okay.
We don't have any current plans or anything like that, but we hope to keep pushing the envelope, right? Came here last year, we did 1 lap. Now we're doing 2. Who knows? Next year, maybe 3.
Awesome.
Maybe we get more cars. We'll see.
That'd be so much fun. Yeah, we're gonna hold for a helicopter. Yeah.
There's the money.
Yeah. All right. So next question is why race a Gen 1 R1T instead of a Gen 2? And got a couple of follow-up questions on that.
Gotcha. It's what we had.
Fair.
We would absolutely run a Gen 2.
Would you guys want to get a Gen 2?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How about like an R2 or an R3X? Or even an
That'd be
R3 if you
amazing.
want to modify it to...
That'd be amazing. Yeah.
Awesome.
We'll see where it goes.
And then last question. Is there anything on the truck that you're looking to improve the next time or before the next time you go out?
As of right now, we're pretty well set. She survived with some minor reworks and parts replacements, gentlemen. Maybe get our drivers to avoid the bigger hits a little bit, but for the most part, we're pretty solid. We have some user interface stuff that we've done, making the GPS and stuff a little bit more accessible for our drivers, but we're pretty solid.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys, for taking the time to sit down and talk with me, especially since today was the last day and y'all are trying to get home. So really appreciate it, and congratulations on the win. It was really awesome to see you guys and to help out and be here with you on that occasion. And yeah, thanks for hanging.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next year.
Yeah, for sure.
So special shout out to Nick and Ricardo and Jordan for taking the time as they were packing up to leave to go home after being out in the desert for a week for hanging out and answering all those questions for me and for all of you out there. Hope you guys enjoyed that interview. I enjoyed asking those questions and getting their responses and learning a little bit more about all the work that they've done, especially after seeing it all in action and in motion all week. So really big appreciation out to them, and especially the entire team, the entire crew, and Matt Tranum back in wherever he's at right now. Yeah, thank you guys so much for that, and especially also thank you for the invite to come and do it all over again at wherever you guys end up next, and after that. So it was a true honor to be out there with you guys and to be considered part of the team. Like I'm very honored to have that bestowed upon me, and I know that Ross and Richard and Ray all have that as well. So thank you. A huge shout out to them, and a huge thank you, and much love to everybody. Just as kind of like a little preview, I was able to get a couple of other interviews out of this. Not anything that I recorded. There will be future episodes. One of the people that obviously is on the team is Alex Anderson, who won the Rebel Rally driving the same truck and has done a couple of other races and stuff as well. I talked to her for a little bit, and like I said, I got to hang out with her for a little bit during the race as well. She is more than excited to come and talk to me and answer all of your questions as well. So keep an eye out on for that in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to try to coordinate something with her to get her on and to let you guys learn a little bit more about her and what she does and her racing and all of that. And a couple of other little things in the works that I can't really talk about right now. So we'll just keep listening and keep an eye out on all of our socials for that. So Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Sorry there's no Rivian news. I figured it's been a couple of weeks and you've all already heard about all the new stuff in the gear shop and all the interviews and everything that RJ's given, and all the stuff going on at South by Southwest, which we'll probably recap next week in the episode. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, as always, this is the Rivian Clubs of America podcast. If you want to find out more information about Rivian Clubs of America, you can check us out at our website, rivianclubs.org. Be sure to follow all of our social media accounts. We have at Rivian Clubs on X, at Rivian Clubs of America on Instagram, and at rivianclubs.org on Blue Sky. Trying to keep all of those updated now. Special shout out to Rachel Millett, who was running our Instagram account, who graciously turned it over to me for this week and I guess going forward in the future. So that's going to be a lot of fun to maintain as well. But like I said, if you're interested in becoming a member of Rivian Clubs of America, we have 28 chapters all across the country, including the Dominican Republic, and new chapters popping up all over the place. Memberships start at $60 a year. You get awesome discounts, free 1-year membership to Tread Lightly, as well as a discounted 1-year subscription to Onyx for all of your off-road mapping needs, plus a host of other discounts. And then also on top of that, I know a lot of the individual chapters also offer special discounts for local vendors to RCA members as well. So definitely check that out. We are on Halo, which is a great community app. You can find us at halo.group/Rivian Clubs of America, and feel free to join there and stop by and hang out with your fellow Rivian owners. And it's a great community, and learn more about off-roading events and off-roading and charging and accessories. And basically we have chats for everything you can possibly think of, and it's a lot of fun in there. And you can also discover your local chapter and join there and see upcoming events and if there's anything that you want to check out. So that's a great place to go, great resource. And if you're interested in following along on all my adventures and seeing some of the behind the scenes stuff, you can check me out on X at Zach Winnick, ZAKWINNICK, and that's across all social media platforms at Zach Winnick. The only one that I'm not at Zach Winnick is on Blue Sky, where I'm at ZachWinnick.com. And yeah, so thanks for thanks for listening, everybody. That's going to do it for this week. Hope you all enjoyed it. As usual, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to email social@rivianclubs.org, or just hit me up on any of the socials for either myself or the club. So thanks for listening, and as always, remember to stay adventurous.